And we are underway. If you have any kind of sentimental objects in your house, I need you to bring them to the screen and press it against your monitor where Slayer's Boxer's name is, because you have just been kissed by the Emperor, and this is the North American Star League.
Do it now. Do it now.
Kiss it. Yep, there it is. I mean, he is actually like holy ground everywhere that guy goes. Again, I've had the pleasure of meeting him, but of course I lost my eyesight when I did. Now, it is Metalopolis in this first game. At the top left-hand corner, we do have the Red Terran Root Drewbie dropping in, representing Team Root. And in the lower right-hand corner, representing Team Slayers, we have Slayer's Boxer. Now, one of the first things I want to talk to you about is I think Slayer's Boxer is actually one of the great coaches / educators of all of StarCraft history. He now has a team named after his own likeness, and they have produced MMA and a couple other players that are absolutely fantastic. I'm actually blanking on their names, like Ryung. Or, I mean, just amazing players. They're tearing up the GSL right now, and they're all doing it under the tutelage of Boxer.
Yeah, I have to say it's probably due to Boxer's
Alicia is another one.
Huge experience and his wisdom when playing RTS games. This guy knows everything about metagame and how to approach matchups. And I think Drewbie, I would say that Drewbie is an up-and-comer in terms of just the grand scheme of how big Boxer is. But I think Boxer definitely has whoa. All right. This is classic Slayer's Boxer.
This is actually pretty funny because it is not the MLG Metalopolis, so this is the expert positioning of a barracks if it is the MLG Metalopolis. But it is not. So close positions were possible, and he would effectively be putting his production further away from his opponent. However, I don't think Boxer knows what bad luck looks like, because the guy is so kissed by an angel in life. Everything he does turns to gold. And some of you might be getting tired of me gushing, but they can walk away from the screen, because I will do this for the Emperor at all times. Now, both these barracks are going down the middle of the map. Drewbie, on the other hand, is unfortunately teching, and that could be a problem. Now, I have seen this repelled. I have seen players with one barracks and the ramp advantage, hold off double barracks proxy.
It is possible. It's very important that Boxer doesn't go and pressure with just one Marine. He has to wait a little bit for 3 Marines, as if he just pressures with one, it's a huge tell. He might make a bunker, and there we can see, just going to wait it out, make sure that he has and is ready, and I'm very interested to see if Slayer's Boxer goes and sends additional SCVs in this army composition.
Yeah, he is going to go ahead and repair that scouting SCV, taking every detail possible to make sure that the full thrust of this attack has the highest chance of success.
There he goes.
And he's going to push forward, so we do have 2 Marines out just now. Actually, 3 Marines, scratch that. Both barracks are producing additional Marines. Now, Drewbie has no idea that this is going down just yet, but his factory is nearing completion, and if it does, hold that thought, though. Here's the firing, and the SCV is moving forward like the linebackers they are.
Wow.
And actually, excellent micro from Drewbie. He's going to lose both these Marines, but not after killing all the SCVs and most of the Marines.
Yeah, he came out on top in that battle. Very surprised, but the incoming Marines are the problem. Now going to be getting a Hellion to kind of thwart this.
And Boxer went after the Mule, a critical mistake, because now he's just taking one-way damage from all these SCVs, and they trap a Marine and snipe him for free. And now Hellions are coming out, and Hellions have the tremendous area of effect damage. So, again, it's not impossible for Boxer. You can come back from this. In fact, he's mining both the gases in his main, so this is not an all-in by any means.
Drewbie needs to be careful. He can't be sacking this Hellion. He needs to keep it alive. If he gets a high Hellion count, he's going to be looking really nice. As Marines are not good against high Hellion counts, they need that huge surround. And we can see Drewbie just poking in and out. I love this play. Toasting 2 of those Marines, and now another Hellion is up. Boxer not looking too good in this first game.
Well, normally I would be, yes.
Well, his position.
It's not
I shouldn't say he's not looking good. His position isn't looking good.
Well, I don't know. I even though I'm not a Terran player, I might even have to disagree with you. He's actually just 2 SCVs behind. He is at a factory just now. Drewbie still has no idea where he is. Actually, okay, he's looking for those barracks, and they're actually floating elsewhere, so he's going to have to be looking for a while. But Boxer is right in tow in terms of tech. Yes, his starboard is slightly later, but his command center is initiated.
That's the big thing, though. Knowing that your army composition is going to be relatively weak in the beginning, of course it's going to be pretty Marine heavy as well. I think it's going to give Drewbie a huge timing to use this medevac to his advantage. He's going to just spread out the Marines so much, and if he doesn't, if Boxer doesn't get units in time, I think he can be in a huge amount of trouble.
Well, he's opting for that medevac, and because Boxer was able to float that barracks through Drewbie's base, he sees no tech lab. In fact, he sees no add-ons at all. So he absolutely knows that there's nothing like a Cloaked Banshee coming his way. So right now, Drewbie's going to go ahead and repair those Hellions, and it looks like it might be some kind of elevator attack, which is actually pretty good. I think that's his best chance at success. But that window of opportunity is closing. I got to be honest. We have a Viking coming out. A tank has emerged from that factory, and Marines are being produced for Boxer. So if he repels this attack, he should be in pretty good spot. Now, Drewbie is expanding behind this, so it's not an all-in by any means. But he does want to kind of create some damage here. And there we go. He's going to go up that ramp. Nope. Bunker denies him that entry. And it looks like he's actually not thinking about the... Oh, of course, as I say that, here comes the elevator attack.
Yeah, and 4 Hellions are going to be lifted up here. Regardless, it's going to give a good scout. I think he's just going to back up. Yes, the Viking is out on the field, so he doesn't want to commit too much. But
wow,
so
medevac could be in trouble here. It is in trouble. There's nothing over here to stop it, and it's taking a lot of damage. So the medevac will go down. It does offload its units, so obviously won't be too big of a loss. But even that medevac, fairly expensive. 100 minerals, 100 gas.
And he sees that Banshee Tech does want to come out. No cloak up, however. And he can also see that no cloak is being registered inside that tech lab. However, Drewbie does have his command center down earlier.
Drewbie's ignoring this Viking. Okay, now he goes. Okay, good. I was going to say, if you want to donate a Banshee, that's very generous of you, sir.
But finally going to be cleared up. He sees the Banshee come out. A second Banshee is on its way. And I'm not sure... Oh, cloak now being researched. So he's doing a delayed cloak just to get the multi-harass up. The 4 Hellions are going to come out here. They want to get map control. He doesn't have the siege tanks out, so his push capacity isn't there. He needs to keep that harass and have his opponent contained. He needs Slayer's Boxers contained, else one push is going to overwhelm him, as he doesn't have the ability to have that core amount of units he needs to fend off any sort of tank play.
Now, I know it's just game number 1, and it's actually fairly early in game number 1, but it's fun to see the difference. I feel like Nada is the perfect macro of Ages Old, and Boxer is the micro of Ages Old. Now, those Hellions making their way to the mineral line, torching a few SCVs, not getting
all
that
of them
many.
Are like half life. This is terrible.
But all the Hellions do die. And yeah, if you actually double-click on that mineral line, all those guys are very orange, so they've got a great suntan. They've got a great tan going on right now. But they're still alive. Now, the Banshee is making its way to the top right-hand of the map, and Cloak is almost done. Boxer, though, being the Emperor that he is ahead of the game. He's got a missile turret in the mineral line, so it won't do that much damage. And Vikings, yeah.
I love this.
Did he pick off? No, he didn't pick off the Banshee. He kind of sniffs it, though. He actually moved back, anticipating this Banshee, and here it is. So we're one scan away from this Banshee being gone, and actually Boxer has the energy for it, but he's got to be careful. There's the scan, and the Viking wants to kill it. Does he do it? The boys can't go any higher. And actually, the Banshee escapes. So, excellent play there. There's another Banshee, though. Double-prong attack here, but it's only hitting a depot. And a bit of a miscue there. It's going to go ahead and die.
540 minerals isn't bad, though, for one Banshee, as it was 2 scans wasted. And we can see Drewbie setting up very nicely. And this is part of why I like Drewbie as a player in general. He has all of his... Well, now he did have his units, but he had his units positioned to defend against any drop because he had position of this Selnaga Tower. Now that he lost it, he needs to go and defend against some sort of pressure through ground, but we can see this one Banshee is going to clean up very easily. And Slayer's Boxer
be careful.
Looks like he wants to push out or something. He is looking pretty... Oh, this Banshee is going to go down.
Yeah, and Drewbie moving out into the middle of the map to meet him, but he's got less than half as many tanks.
Oh, and doesn't have siege mode.
About the same number of Marines. Oh, it doesn't have siege mode. Nah, I don't like this. He's playing with fire. Actually, Boxer's respecting it. Yeah, but Stim, but no medevacs, and there go all the Marines.
Oh, no.
Actually, kind of for both players. The Marines were the first to go there. And Boxer actually going to return back home as well. Both these players just kind of exchanging units. If you get a look at the supply, it almost couldn't be more even. Drewbie is ahead by 6 supply, but that's absolutely it. Production-wise, we do have 4 barracks and 2 factories and a starport with a reactor going down, or is down, excuse me, 4 Boxer. Meanwhile, 3 barracks, 2 factories, and the 1 starport for Drewbie. So a slight difference in their production.
Yeah. Well, it comes from the fact that Drewbie went the Banshees instead of getting that extra barracks, so he's going to be behind in that. However, he found room to get that extra factory in, so the factory was about one siege tank ahead. However, he needed that, as the Emperor did have... I can't believe I just called him the Emperor. The Emperor did have,
buddy.
I know, a little bit more time to mass these tanks. And we can see Drewbie just keeping up with this pressure. One huge stim goes around. Going to try to catch the Banshee, but it's not going to be caught whatsoever.
He does get out of there. It's actually got low energy, so she will have to return to a safer place. Get herself some energy. Now Boxer and Drewbie, again, kind of converging in the middle of the map. It's like this is the meeting place where they decide that Marines shouldn't live in this game. And, oh my gosh, Drewbie gets baited to move forward and takes a lot of one-way damage. Boxer go ahead and capitalize on that. But look at the production of Drewbie. He's constantly ahead. And really, it's only through the sheer value that he makes more stuff.
Yeah, well, Boxer is known for more of his strategy and his special tactics, if you will.
No, let's not.
All right.
I've been so upset with how much people have been using that.
Oh.
Special tactics is reserved for only when you make a shite ton of Dragoons or Stalkers and Zealots. And only White Rock can do it.
Only Dragoons. Gotcha.
So.
That's what's up. But a little bit of a stakeout for both these players. Now Slayer's Boxer looks like he wants to keep up with his micro. Going to be in range of these tanks.
Spotting. Yeah.
And 3 tanks look like they're going down immediately. Slayer's Boxer losing absolutely nothing. Actually, might lose 1 tank.
Well, he's going to lose a couple Marines, but only because he's cleaned up the entire tank force of Drewbie. And Drewbie has got to be feeling awkward. He just brought presents to a birthday party where they specifically asked you not to. He will be that guy in the corner because Boxer's actually pushing forward with a huge tank force. And I love this play, not pushing forward too ambitiously. He's actually just going to go ahead and range out some free units there and then spot up above, shelling hell down on this one factory and barracks. But that's a reactor and a tech lab that the Terran player needs.
Yes, a counterattack going on the bottom, but Boxer is going to spot out everything that happens. And he looks like he's in dominant position, shelling out on all the production line of Drewbie. Drewbie lost crucial position. And
Drewbie's
finally,
sticking with it for some reason, too.
Man, the counterattack is even going down. And Boxer playing magnificently in this first match.
He's winning in every fight. I mean, there's nowhere you can look where Boxer's actually not coming out on top. Drewbie is ahead in bases for the time being, but Boxer's even looking to seal the deal on that as he's moving this command center down, presumably to make an orbital command. Now Drewbie is circling outside, and again, even despite these losses, Drewbie is hovering around the same amount of supply. We do have SCVs idling in the middle of the map, presumably for a big push. If Boxer allows for that, it could be a big mistake, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
he looks pretty airtight.
Drewbie really needs to bust out of this position, but the position is just so strong right now.
And look at how patient Boxer is. A lot of players would win these couple of fights and be like, okay, I need to unsiege and move forward to get like more damage in. And that might be what Boxer does right now, but he's doing it so calmly and slowly that I can't help but to admire it.
And now going to be swinging around. I love this play. Now he's on Drewbie's side of the map. So whatever Drewbie is doing, he has to commit his units. Drewbie trying to push in here, but the siege tanks siege in time, and it does look like Drewbie's going to just get wiped out completely.
It's a big left hook from
all
those Marines.
Tanks, all Marines immediately destroyed, and now I think
look at
he
this.
can just push in, and no, he's not going to.
Boxer plays super safe, man.
He's just going to rejoin with all of his units and make, I think, a final stand.
Yeah, it's 150 supply for Boxer versus the 117, roughly 120 supply of Drewbie. Drewbie has been sitting on the third base at full saturation for a while now. Boxer has equalized that with his own third, but it's a tale of the armies. Boxer moving in with a superior and healthy tank force. I'm not quite sure how they retain all that health. Yeah. But his Marines are stemming forward. They see the opening that they want, and they're going for it. Drewbie had to take a gamble anticipating an attack on the third and is out of position. Now SCVs are being pulled, but they're really just lambs to the slaughter. And there we go. GG. Boxer takes the first game on Metalopolis 1-0, and he looked good. There's actually no way to talk about him without coming off like a fanboy, so let's go ahead and just dispel of that mystery. I am a fanboy. Boxer's amazing.
Fix my mic. I apologize.
It's okay. Technical difficulties on the right side, but you know who didn't have technical difficulties? Boxer.
Slayer's Boxer?
Yeah, he played pretty good.
He was a pretty awesome player in that game. His micro spoke that entire game. The way he was able to push up on the siege tanks and consistently win every single one of his battles. The beginning was a little shaky. I thought Drewbie was in great position, but he didn't capitalize off
I actually
of that.
always knew that he wasn't. I'm the better Terran versus Terran analyzer. No, just kidding.
No, I think he missed the timing. He needs to go ASAP. But he crucially tried to push up that front. That's not what you do. When you're behind in tech that much, when Boxer's behind in tech that much, you can take advantage of just pulling units all over the place. So if he went and dropped immediately with that medevac, with the 4 Hellions, he would have had a lot more. I think he would have had a lot more, as he didn't have the amount of units to scale with all the perimeter of that main. But alas, Drewbie did.
Yeah.
He still went into a macro game with it. It was fine. But
Drewbie was ahead for most of it in terms of macro.
But I think the big thing was the fact that when the tanks started aggressing, Drewbie just was outplayed in that middle grounds. And I thought it was all entrenched and nothing could happen, but Drewbie just lost it completely because he had no air control whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, despite having more stuff throughout it, Drewbie did fall behind each of the conflicts. So we're going to go into a short break before we enter game number 2, but stay with us, and we'll be right back after one moment. All right, and there's the countdown. This is game number 2 between Slayer's Boxer and Root Drewbie. Greetorp, as the house professional Terran, can you please walk us through that game? Because a lot of people are seeing, okay, Boxer opened up the proxy barracks. It didn't work. It got face smashed pretty good. How was he still in that game? What was he doing to allow him to get in that game?
Well, he did enough damage to threaten a lot of those SCVs. He did pull off enough, in my opinion, to kind of warrant his proxy. It wasn't too detrimental for his income. And Boxer was teching on top of that. He was behind in tech, ahead a little bit in future economy. But because Drewbie didn't capitalize on either, he waited too long, I think. And it just sort of evened out, all in all. Drewbie did expand behind that. He got his expansion up, had the SCV lead for quite a bit.
Yeah.
However, when it came down to actually performing, executing with his units, he just could not size up to Boxer. And I think it was just a very straightforward game of Drewbie being outplayed in terms of just unit control rather than anything else, anything behind the scenes.
Well, I think the delayed Banshee and it getting snuffed out, it adds kind of a nice comparison, because earlier we saw Cloud seeing that build get snuffed out and opting not to spend the money on, let's face it, an extremely expensive upgrade. 200 for Cloak. That is one of the more expensive upgrades in the game, and it had little to no effect. I mean, he killed a couple SCVs, he did force a missile turret or 2, and like you like to say, I mean, he did drop a couple scans, but I think in the grand scheme of things, just the time on that starport, the upgrade, and the Banshees themselves ended up putting Drewbie behind a little bit. I feel like that's kind of how it played out.
Yeah, his production was a little bit lacking. He didn't have the extra barracks, which the barracks actually give you kind of movement across the map.
Right.
If you get earlier siege factory, the second factory I should say, it gives you the ability to stake out places, positions, but the extra barracks actually lets you to move around, get additional units. And that spoke a lot, because Slayer's Boxer was able to take that Zelnaga Tower most of the time. And that gives you the advantage, without doubt, in those positions.
Yeah, I can't agree anymore. Now, to get in the game a little bit, we do have Root Drewbie as the red Terran spawning in the top right-hand corner, and in the lower right-hand corner is the blue Terran, Slayer's Boxer. Both players opening up very similar, actually, and this is kind of refreshing to see, both taking the one gas, the singular barracks built within their base, and I can only presume that the follow-up is going to be a factory, and then from there it's anybody's guessing game. Usually it could be Hellion Marine, it could be Tank Viking, it could be Cloaked Banshee, or even just Fast Expansion.
We can see Drewbie actually shuffling over here. I'm not sure if he wants to take an expansion or not.
Ooh, he's going to. I mean, the money's rising up over there.
Yeah.
Which makes his opening a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Because he took the gas, and he hasn't scouted out Boxer, so it's not like he's making a read here. It's kind of a blind expansion, but it looks like both players are going to go ahead and do that. Boxer's slightly behind. He is getting the reactor on his barracks. And is Drewbie going to follow suit? That would be kind of interesting. Probably not, though. I think he's going to save it for this factory.
He's going to get a factory, I do think.
There it is.
There it goes down. So, expansion tech, I mean, pretty standard on this map. The expansion is very easy to hold, so both these players are going to mimic a little bit.
Look at that activity.
There's the reactor and the
box with a couple of Marines at the tower. I really like it. And actually, Drewbie's doing the same thing, denying the scout of that SCV. Both these players, for at least this moment in time, are playing pretty darn identical. The difference, of course, is that Drewbie is opting for that tech lab on his barracks, whereas Boxer already has the reactor in full gear. So a slight divergence in their builds there, but really nowhere else. Even if you look at the income tab, they're toe-in-toe. I mean, we've got 20 harvesters for both guys.
Now keep in mind, Boxer can flip the barracks and the factory and take complete map control in this beginning stage. I don't know if he's going to be doing that, but it seems like something Boxer isn't going to do it. I feel like
you're just about to compliment him, and it's like, now I'm in this weird place where I guess I'm criticizing him.
I'm wrong. I'm straight up wrong.
Well
but
played,
both of them taking their expansions pretty much at the same time.
Yeah.
They're on equal footing. 22 SCVs for Drewbie, 21 for Boxer. So not that big of a disparity among the builds whatsoever.
No, and I mean, they're both opting for the 1-1-1. Starport is going down. Both are, well, they have a tech lab on those tanks, or excuse me, those factories. And the tank is now being produced for Boxer. So again, if there is a difference between these players, it's mostly in time. It's not really in what they're doing. It's just a few seconds shaved off or added on, respectively, to the both these players' builds, which is kind of cool. It'd be like me sitting down with OGSMC and us having the exact same build for like 7 minutes. I'd feel pretty cool about that. He's a pretty good Protoss player.
Yeah, now the big thing I want to see is how both these players... Keep in mind, both of these players are blind. I'm going to go on each... Actually, there was a scan going on for Boxer. But Drewbie is very blind, so he's going to have to be a little bit more defensive with how he structures his units.
And I think you're right. I mean, here's a Viking coming out and an engineering bay.
Yeah. So he has to. It's forced because he wasn't willing to give that scan up. He's just going to defend up. He has to defend against, let's say, Banshee. Defend against drops, pushes.
Oh my gosh, he might meet this drop.
Things.
He does sniff out this drop, and the Viking is starting the damage early. And Boxer actually has to turn around and drop off the Marines to try to save the medevac's life. And I think he will. But excellent play by Drewbie sniffing that out. And I hate to interject there, buddy. Sorry to speak over you, but I think you're absolutely right. That Viking gets out there and either finds a Banshee or a drop. In either of those scenarios, it's a win for him.
Yes. I think would have been better for Slayer's Boxer, knowing that Drewbie hasn't seen anything whatsoever and has to play a lot more defensive. I would even say this is bold. This would have been very greedy, but he could have expanded yet again. We do see him blowing down these destructible rocks. Again, with making this missile turret, making the engineering bay, you weaken your ground army, so you can't really attack. There's no way that Drewbie can attack efficiently. And knowing that knowledge, you can go and expand because there's no impending attack that's going to come up.
Yeah, and it looks like both these players are clearing the rocks way at their third. Perhaps
drop coming down
with
though.
That. Oh, yep, there's
Boxer.
That drop.
Sim is not upgraded, however. The Viking does go
He's
down,
doing a lot of damage,
but
though.
a lot of SCVs are being killed by Root Drewbie, I should say.
Yeah. And Drewbie's doing everything he can to come here and clean up. But he's got to be careful, actually. That tank's a little bit alone. And it looks like it will survive and go ahead and thwart this attack. Now, this might have been... it was almost a one-way attack, but I think he might have actually even got the Viking. So really nice. I mean, if you look at the income tab, somehow Boxer's actually still behind in Harvesters at 37 to the 42 of Drewbie. So Drewbie doing a fantastic job hitting those cycles with those SCVs. And actually, we've seen that consistently. In game number 1, he was ahead in Harvesters most of the time.
Yeah, I have to agree. And Slayer's Boxer actually pumping down. And this is what I was talking about. He only has one barracks. He's at a 1-1-1 and throwing down a command center. And that's because he sees, oh, Drewbie's playing so defensive. Missile turret, engineering bay, that's right there, 325 minerals. That's almost a command center. Well, you can attack. We have the same amount of army. I'm going to go ahead and take the command center while you get the turrets.
Yep. Now, Drewbie is enjoying a slight lead in terms of tanks versus Marine, or tank versus tank, but he just took a lot of damage there, absorbing a couple of the siege tank shots. Medevacs do now join up with those Marines, so they will start initiating their healing abilities, and it's 5 tanks for Drewbie, positioned expertly in the middle of this map. Now, Boxer looks like he might actually be fixing on yet another drop, but these missile turrets are really well placed. Boxer's got to be careful. He's actually heading right towards a missile turret, And that medevac does not have a lot of health. In fact, the missile turret shifted over to shoot at it, but then wasn't able to complete the shot. And Boxer, look at this impeccable drop.
The hole. Unbelievable. Still doesn't have stim, though.
Kind of a weird location, though. There's not a whole lot of damage to be done here.
Oh, and this is the one making the stim.
Boxer, you are so awesome.
Wow. So Drewbie will not have stim for another 3 minutes at least.
And I just ate my words. So yes, for all those keep it down. Like, not a lot of damage can be done here unless he picks off the tech lab that is uniquely producing or upgrading the stim upgrade. And actually, Boxer's not even done yet. Moving to the back of the mineral line, there is no missile turret there. And Drewbie is swinging over, but the medevac heals. And these Marines are actually... nope, they do go down pretty quick. Actually, those SCVs do a lot of damage.
Yeah, but still, I don't think that that Drewbie is sitting nicely at all, as the third command center is out for Slayer's Boxer. Now Drewbie actually moving into a really nice position. He has a bit of timing, and Boxer caught out as
he kind of kicked that door down. Greetorp. And Drewbie's got to be careful. No stim down for Drewbie just yet. Spreading the Marines just a little bit, and it looks like Boxer...
Beautiful spread.
Yeah, Boxer's caught in a really tough spot here, Drewbie. Or Greetorp. You're not Drewbie.
I'm not Drewbie.
You're Groovy. Oh, crap.
No.
You're Greetorp.
I'm not that either.
You're that one.
I am Greetorp.
And the tanks are moving forward, and Boxer. Boxer only has like 6 Marines. Drewbie pushing forward. This could be it, ladies and gentlemen. The tanks do siege mode.
Position.
And here come all the SCVs.
Being pulled off dramatically.
Wow. And they work.
Oh, no. It
was really effective.
There's siege tanks inside the medevacs.
Oh, you picked them up.
Oh,
holy crap. Drewbie executing some beautiful micro actions. He's picking up those tanks after sniping the siege tank and then lifting them up over here. Now, there's not a lot of units over here. And actually, Drewbie's trying to reinforce, but there's a tank. There's 2 siege tanks in the middle of the map, and they're cleaning that up. But Boxer is in a lot of pain right now trying to clean up these tanks.
Yeah, behind this, Drewbie is expanding, but I do want to keep a lot of attention on this, just the denial of all this production. Finally going to be doing a huge push in. Marines and, might be able to kill this one barracks.
Cow.
No, it's not going to go down, I don't think. It's going to be repaired. Yes, it will. And Drewbie, really nice counterattack. It was a bit risky for him. And these 4 medevacs are going to say hello to this Viking that's going to be shelling out a little bit of damage. And it does look like one of the medevacs, at least one, is going to go down. I think the second one might go down as well.
Yeah.
No, yes,
it does. And that had 2 Marines in it as well, so nice little victory for him. And he actually takes the path that leads him not into 2 other Vikings. So
hold that thought, though. 4 medevacs geared up. 3 tanks and all Marines, the rest are Marines, so that is a total of 20 Marines.
And Boxer's positioning in the middle of the map.
This is not looking good.
This could be wildly effective.
I mean, Boxer did overextend quite a bit with his position. He didn't account for that huge push, breaking down these rocks over here. And now Drewbie set up for this beautiful timing, but he's just chilling.
Drewbie,
he's like,
don't do this to me. He might be waiting for the army to be revealed in the middle of the map. This might be like just a straight up base rate kind of count.
I see what he's doing.
Hold that thought.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, what are you seeing? What are you drinking? 2 Vikings will go down the middle of the map. A little bit sloppy played by Drewbie, and here we go. These medevacs loaded to the brim with just some of the world's finest Marines in their world, in their galaxy. And they are touching down. 3 tanks are in here. The rest is Marines. And I love this position, taking the top of the ramp, also getting that siege tank by surprise.
Looks like a counter, though, for
Boxer. And Boxer knows what to do. He's just going to go for it. And you know what? That might actually be the right choice. He's moving right up into the production line, and I don't think Drewbie has anything in store. There's 1 siege tank, and it's just not enough.
So it looks like a base trade. Actually, Boxer able to clean up a lot of...
Oh, wow. Where did Drewbie's army come from?
The Marines, but all of Drewbie's army is going to come back here. I think Slayer's Boxer is going to be able to pick off everything.
No, he's getting thinned out. It's Drewbie's army that I think he can't handle. Boxer is getting thinned out. Those SCVs are going to clean this attack up. Even the Viking has joined the fight, and its Gatling gun is just not enough. And Drewbie seems to be in commanding position. He is left wild in the midst of the production of Boxer, surrounded by smoldering flames that used to be barracks or still are, I guess. And with all these medevacs, I feel like he can endure any pain.
Yeah, 15 officers out for Boxer, and he has 0 income as well. 30 supply. He has nothing coming for him, and it's just a matter of time before Boxer actually GG's out of this, as I don't think there's any way for him to get back into this. Now, 5 Harvesters out.
Tank is railing in the damage, but this is, I think they just did too much.
Yeah.
Drewbie sitting on 3 bases. If you look at the saturation across the board, it's excellent. He has a fantastic Harvester count sitting at, well, 77 to 8. Right now, Drewbie could be replaced by a Kitten and probably take down Boxer because he's got a commanding lead. And he's moving out to the middle of the map. We have 6. Oh, no, excuse me. I said 6, but actually it's like 9 medevacs. There's a personal medevac almost for every Marine. It's like the marital army. The wife of every Marine is here, flying in a medevac, moving over, and Boxer just simply having a tough time with his own economy, sitting at just 8 Harvesters, mostly mules.
Drop. Big drop coming out from Drewbie.
Yeah.
He's just going to chill. He loves to chill.
Well, here we go. And actually, Boxer sniffed it out. There's Marines waiting for him, so this might get thwarted. Focusing down. One goes down almost for free. The second one thought about it, and that hesitation cost them their lives. But again, it's just, you know, I'd like to make this more dramatic than it is, but I got to admit to you, folk, I think Boxer is in a... We're heading to a Game 3.
Yeah.
That's my assumption here.
Boxer holding on a little bit. Do keep in mind that he has 3 command centers, so he has a lot of mules to be coming back, but everything is drying out from him. But still, yeah, I can't see a way. Boxer needs to be a hero right now.
He's got 5 mineral piles at his natural. He's got more at his main, to give you an idea of how the mining's gone sporadically this game. Drewbie's scouting around the map to make sure that he is as ahead as he feels like he is. So there's 3 medevacs kind of checking on all his bases, just saying, okay, why is this guy still in this game? Does he have a hidden 5 bases over here or what? Because Drewbie is now actually saturating the high yield, and he's so confident in his lead, it's actually an orbital command. But he's moving forward, a few tanks, and it looks like they're going to take it on the chin from Boxer Army. Boxer Army actually looks to be bigger for the time being. Both players are opting to not upgrade their Marines. They figure that they're actually just as good as they are on wholesale. But Drewbie only has to win the positional battle here, actually. If he can actually just edge out this third, it's the death blow.
Yep.
I mean, Boxer's just not bringing money from his main.
Drop on the bottom for Drewbie, and Boxer's way out of position to be able to do anything. And I think,
Drewbie.
And Drewbie's just going to chill.
You know what? It's not that big of a... He's like, hey, here I am.
Why not? But finally going to be dropping in. And basically all of Boxer's SCVs are going to be committed here.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the story of every fight. He's got to throw everything he's got at him. And he'll clean this up in a commanding fashion. It looks like just an overwhelming victory, but... I mean, the big but here is that it's just kind of slowing down the inevitable. Drewbie now expanding the top left, doing an excellent job, taking this lead and running with it, adding on additional production facilities. Barracks now range in the millions. Also has 2 factories. And here's the nice thing about this, too. Just the other day you had mentioned how you don't want to produce out of the same place. We saw that happen to Boxer here, right? When those Marines were in his production zone, he was not able to safely make units from somewhere else. And Drewbie is taking your advice. He's producing from everywhere. A big drop at that natural, but I don't know what Boxer can do about any of this.
Yeah, finally going to be taking this out. However, there's nothing of importance over here. Only units for Boxer to come back on. And I think, yes, now Drewbie's going to use that timing to push up and deny this expansion. And Drewbie, I mean, he's in a commanding lead. And I think this is going to be the final hurrah, the last hurrah, excuse me, for Slayer's Boxer as he goes up for this last attack.
Yeah, and I mean, he will win this fight. His orbital command is in smolders. It's going to go down here pretty good. I'm sorry, did I say he was going to win that fight?
Nah.
He actually didn't even win that. Boxer doing everything he can, but even his last siege tanks are getting dropped on inside his main, and I got to believe he's going to tap out here pretty soon. Look at this hero, though. Double GG, there it is. Slayer's Boxer falls in game number 2 on Crevasse, which means the series is tied at 1-1. We will go to Typhon Peaks, and Root Drewbie's got to be feeling good right now.
Yeah, pretty commanding win over Slayer's Boxer. Now, do keep in mind, there was a little bit of rockiness going on in the beginning. Boxer able to find holes in Drewbie's defense, but somehow, somewhere, Drewbie was making a ton of SCVs and Boxer was not able to keep up. That's one of Boxer's signature problems. His mistakes is his macro, where his micro is just flawless, probably the best in the world. But Drewbie able to keep up with his macro and keep it going. and ultimately got that one really nice counterattack, super cost efficient with his army, and able to take it home for him, giving him a huge advantage. And then, of course, Boxer, it was all formality, really. He was staying in the game, but...
Well, he's a competitor. I mean,
yes.
if Drewbie fell out of his chair and passed out for 2.5 hours, Boxer was going to win that game, so you got to play to it. But we're going to go to game number 3. Everybody's hero, Slayer's Boxer, is up against the fence. Root Drewbie coming back in this series, tying at 1-1. Who's going to win? Stay tuned to find out. It's the last game of the day. This is Division number 5's final game. Series is tied at 1-1 in this best of 3. We have Slayer's Boxer from Korea and Root Drewbie from Canada. Two of the finest going at it.
And Terran versus Terran on Typhon Peaks. We have spawning in the bottom left-hand corner as the red Terran, Root Drewbie. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have, of course, the famed Slayer's Boxer. Now,
not enough to say about him.
A little bit about this. We did just see this with Pain User against Cloud. We saw the same exact positions. The thing is going to be, how do I get a third base? We share, they don't share the third bases, the ones that are right near their expansion. They don't share them, but they're so close that it's too dangerous to be taking. So where are they going to expand to? They can only expand up, which is very far away, not defendable very easily, and it makes drop play extremely strong.
Yeah, in these positions, I think drop play is tremendously encouraged, as it's kind of the brunt side of their main that's exposed to either player. So, I mean, if they were top-bottom, you could kind of see, well, okay, the natural's exposed, but that's easily defended, I suppose. Not as wide area of a coverage, because that's also the natural place for you to rally your units. But in these positions, I think they equally have the same problem, which is, are you going to drop me? I mean, they're both kind of asking that question, or they will be in the middle portion of the game. But if you look at that production tab, both players producing their barracks almost exactly at the same time. And again, that's pretty uniform. Unless there's some shenanigans, both players will be opting for that kind of stuff. And we did see Boxer open up with the proxy gateway, or proxy barracks in that first game, not opting for it this time around.
But is opting for a fast expansion. No gas going down for him, sir.
And we have a bad history with that, actually.
Oh, I take that back. Sorry.
Never mind. Like gas.
Take that back. Like gas.
It's fine.
Duh.
Boxer operates in a time and space that we can only hope to someday achieve. He's actually like already Nirvana'd. Achieved Nirvana, excuse me. I guess it's a better way to put that. Marines are coming out of the barracks, and here's one of the things I really want people at home to kind of look for that I really like about these guys. They're very active with these Marines. Not just satisfying themselves with sitting at the top of the ramp. Typically, they actually move around and make sure to intercept that SCV before it ever makes its way to that ramp, shutting down any kind of information like, am I doing a fast expansion? Is there any kind of wall in? You don't know because I'm stopping you from doing that. And sure enough, we do have the SCV exiting Drewbie's base. And actually, this is quite a bit of a late SCV, and it's making a beeline right to the appropriate base. So Drewbie rolling the dice a little bit and coming up spades, doing very good. But look at that. There's that active Marine patrolling.
And he's going to spot it out. The second Marine is right behind her, denying any information. Now, Drewbie, brilliant.
Okay.
Keeping his SCV alive.
It will die.
Okay, I'm going to get as much information as possible. So he sees no command center is put down. Now, that's not completely indicative of no expansion at all. However, it's a nice just
better than
whatever.
Nothing.
Exactly.
Better than dying just in the middle of a path that shows you nothing. I mean, it ends up being that Slayer's Boxer is throwing down that command center before the factory at his natural. And both these guys, again, they must read the same books because they're both doing the exact same thing, except the slight difference is that a Reaper is coming out for Drewbie, whereas the Reactor is going down for Boxer. I don't see that taking too much shape in this early portion of the game. Of course, that Reaper allows for tremendous scouting, but even that, Boxer spacing out his depot up against this wall should reveal any kind of hop-up or anything like that.
As the Reaper makes its way over, you can see that the factory is positioned very nicely to be able to switch off with the barracks. So we will be having a continuation with siege tanks. Now finally the Reaper gets up here, sees the supply depot, and I think it's not going to be able to do much damage as these 4 Marines get over here. Ooh, 2 shots away from being dead, but the Reaper will survive.
Yeah, not necessarily a lot of damage, but he did see the starport. Actually, if you check his vision to confirm that, there it is. He did see that starport, which is really important. And I gotta believe that because it's a later starport, in fact, it's really in alignment with his own starport, he's got to say, okay, this is a fast expansion build. Yes. You and I are doing the same exact thing, and that's got to tickle his fancy once again because he and Boxer doing the same thing. I mean, that you couldn't ask for a... Well, okay, you could ask for a better opening. Maybe Boxer fell out of his chair, and Drewbie's able to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Big scan, too. Confirming.
Both of them actually scanning each other. Now, the siege tank tech is very similar, and look, a little difference is coming in. We have Boxer looking like he wants to go some Banshee tech. Yes, Banshee does go down. Cloak isn't yet researched, but I think it will momentarily. Drewbie finally putting down the reactor on his barracks and going out to expand. Both of them expanding, so they are mirroring each other so closely. Just this one deviation of the Banshee to the siege tank siege mode.
And a little bit of trickery, because actually Boxer, when scanned, was showing a Viking coming off that starport, or at least, you know, something. It was either a Viking or a medevac. You can't actually tell which it is. But the second that scan disappeared, went ahead with a swap-aroo, didn't even complete the Viking, and is now going Cloak Banshee. And if you look, I believe he put... I mean, he tricked Drewbie to a certain extent, at least at this stage. Now, Drewbie could rally back and go ahead and defend against the Banshee just as a built-in reaction to the possibility. But for right now, he's got no detection. Okay, there's no missile turret. In fact, doesn't even have that many Marines.
And now finally putting down the engineering bay. So this is a late engineering bay. And the Cloak is going to be doing a lot of damage. As we can see, oh man, he just used up some mules. So Cloak is going to reign to...
Not even a Viking's making a medevac, too. And that's problematic. I think this Banshee's waiting for Cloak. I would have liked to have seen moved in actually earlier and anticipate the Cloak upgrade.
Unfortunately, Drewbie, I think Drewbie isn't looking too good in this match. Coming up very, very soon, as he's not prepared. All the Marines are out of position. Finally, the Banshee get into position. And no turrets are up. One SCV goes down. Second one goes down. Finally, scattering turrets. Now making just only one, though. And this is going to be constantly denied.
Yeah. And he's pulling with his 6 Marines. They don't even have stim, though, so even with the scan, the Banshee basically has to stop moving. And Drewbie is at a severe disadvantage here. Still no missile turrets going up. A Viking is about to be produced, and that will allow him to thwart it. The single missile turret is up at the mineral line, where another Banshee is just ranging out these SCVs, going ahead and getting herself 3 kills. Meanwhile, that original Banshee is racked up 10 kills now, but does have a lot of health off, so it needs to return home for repairs.
Actually, I think he canceled the Cloak. Yes, he did cancel the Cloak. What a quick decision to do that.
Yeah, I did that the last second. He had to have.
And actually switched to a very fast second factory as well. So going a lot of siege tanks.
He's
up 42 harvesters to 29.
Yeah, he's hurting. I mean, he has to assume it is Cloak, so the missile turrets have gone down at both mineral lines. He does have, I think it's actually 2 Vikings out. Now, the Vikings do have utility. They can still spot against Slayer's Boxer's army. So there is the advantage for Drewbie right now, and I'd say that his army's stronger. He is sitting at 5 tanks. I think he has more Marines. He does have a medevac, and he has a Viking for spotting. So those are all the pluses for him right now. And look at this. Both players might actually avoid each other's army almost incidentally. And Boxer actually is being very active with that Banshee in the middle of the map, and this could be what spots that army, and I think he does. But Drewbie's got to be careful because his life hangs from a limb, and it's only connected with this army that he has right now.
He needs to yield a lot of results from this army, or at least just stay even. He cannot engage in a bad position. If he loses this army, it's confusion. Ooh, Boxer. On the verge of...
He's a firewalker, man.
Yeah.
He just stepped into danger and out of it. No problem, dude.
Yeah, and I love this Viking play. Now, Drewbie is just going to keep poking up and down.
Banshee back in the main, returning to her old stomping grounds.
Oh, what a huge pickoff. Now, this Banshee, it's the fact that it's actually denying this gas. That's the biggest problem. But we can see Drewbie trying to slowly push up, but 2 Vikings are going to be able to range out this one siege tank.
Yeah.
It does look like the siege tank will go down. So
I think he's just being
on
anxious.
The receiving end.
I mean, he doesn't have as many Vikings. He's not able to produce as many Vikings. There is a reactor on that starport over there, so he can produce for every 1 Viking Drewbie produces, there's 2 coming out for Boxer. So he will have air control pretty soon. And Boxer just sitting on this income of 52 Harvesters to the 39 of Drewbie, which roughly translates to about 300 minerals per minute coming in. He is mining twice as much gas as I think Drewbie. Yeah, he's actually forgotten about his main gases entirely at this point, or at least is not emphasizing them. So Drewbie's got to find something, and he's got to do it fast.
Yes, and we can see the production of Boxer is much greater than Drewbie. So the longer this goes on, the worse off Drewbie is. Drewbie needs to do something a lot more decisive. And I like this. He's actually moving into this bottom, but going to meet up with Slayer's Boxer. Mutual siege mode goes down. And
Boxer's out of position, actually.
Yeah.
He could be losing all his bio, but no, look at those Marauders.
The Marauders are just way too strong in this battle.
Those Marauders clean up all those tanks with like little to no problem whatsoever.
9 tanks still left over for Boxer. Yeah. This is terrible for
Things
Drewbie.
just not go Drewbie's way this game. I mean, that Banshee, both those Banshees racking in more than their value in kills. Boxer macroing superbly back at home. And his army composition has just never let up. He's just always got more stuff. I really like the working in of Marauders here. They're like little mini tanks. If you don't have a lot of tanks, they can stem forward and pick off a tank super fast.
Yes, and Drewbie, he's still on this Marine tank composition. You only can do the Marauder Marine if you are kind of laying back on the upgrades. You can't get too many upgrades. We can see Slayer's Boxer is at 1-0, getting his armor as well, but is laying off, isn't getting the armor, isn't getting the second engineering bay just yet. He's concentrating on this very heavy 2-base play, which is understandable because you want to concentrate on this.
Well, his command center going down.
Oh, because he has a huge army. He has a huge army now, and he can do it. But before, he needs to concentrate on your army, else you will be behind. Taking a 3rd base up here is extremely hard to do without a huge army to scale back and forth.
Well, I like it, though, because he's undoubtedly behind. I mean, look at the supply. 164 to 116. Boxer is in the commanding lead. He cannot expand normally. If he expands normally, he can't hope to hold it. So he's got to take a tricky expansion and just hope that Boxer kind of forgets about it. And look at this. Both players are out of position. It's going to be a question of who responds what way. And Drewbie kind of realizes, all right, I got to do it. I'm already in the middle of the map. And he's going to go for it. And Boxer's going to do the same, elevating some units up into the main. Never mind, he's going to pull back on that. Now Drewbie's got to get on his horse a little bit. Every second he waits, Boxer knows what's coming and has pulled his SCVs. And they're holding that army back at bay while the rest of his tanks and army does some damage. Now, Drewbie will win this fight, but at what cost? Meanwhile, Boxer shoving himself up into the production line of Drewbie, and I feel like Drewbie's just getting outclassed.
Drewbie will lose all of his productions over here. Meanwhile, I don't think
No,
Drewbie cannot push in here. All the SCVs come off the line, but it does not look like, and GG coming out from Drewbie, it didn't look like he had the DPS to take care of all those SCVs. And I think Boxer just outclassed Drewbie that entire game.
Yes.
Starting with the Banshees, and after that, he just played straight up. He just said, I'm going to keep massing my units. You can go ahead because you've been behind in so much income. And then what do we have? 150, 160 supply to 100, 110 supply. 50 supply lead for Drewbie, or for Boxer. Drewbie tried to push in. They did the counterattack, and it was just inevitable that
it was the only choice he could make. Yeah. You know, I mean, he had to try it. If there was nothing there, would he have been okay? Yeah, but I mean, the nature of Terran as well in those base trade situations is, yeah, you can win the fight, we can both lose our bases, but because they're both Terran, they can just float buildings away. So it's still going to come down to almost always that final army fight, and Boxer just always had the stronger army, always maximizing the value from his units and just coming out on top. Now, Drewbie played his heart out. We got to tip our hat to him. He did face one of the best from Korea, one of the living legends of the game and the games before, and he did it in superb fashion, taking a game off him and actually putting him, you know, giving him a game in the other two. So congrats to Drewbie.
I actually can't find any theoretical flaws with Drewbie. He did lose to the Banshee. However, when you scout and see that you see obviously the siege tanks coming out of the factory, the
Vikings
coming out of the starport.
Yeah.
You're not assuming Banshees are coming out. It's actually safer to assume that no Banshees are out, and you just get ready for a huge ground game. And Boxer was a little tricky. He was playing risky, as there was a short time where he had no siege tanks popping out. So Drewbie could have committed, but just playing part of that metagame. And Drewbie was caught with his pants down, lost a lot of SCVs, and the Banshees did way too much damage than they should have.
But, I mean, we also got to give credit where credit's due. Boxer was a little bit vulnerable because he didn't have tanks, but those Banshees are pretty good. Even though he doesn't have siege mode, they can pick apart a few Marines, and if you don't have those Marines, they kill everything else underneath. So I think Boxer played that just textbook well. If you're looking to see how to play TVT, the reads to make, the decisions to make, follow Slayer's Boxer through these games and the ones to come, because I'll tell you what, everything was sound. I mean, there were some dice rolled in that first game. He did not know that Drewbie was in either of those two base spots. He just kind of assumed it was the... I mean, I didn't ask him, so I don't know, but I assumed so. Otherwise... Well, actually, you know what? I mean, it's 66%.
Yes.
And that might have been what he was doing.
That's a lot of dice to roll, though.
It works. I mean, to his credit,
To his credit, it did work, but it was very risky in that he didn't know what his opponent was doing. Of course, the two barracks pressure is pretty reliable. That everybody does either a one barracks or the best position would have been a fast expansion, no barracks, but of course that's not happening. But yeah, I think overall we saw 3 unique styles coming out from Slayer's Boxer, and he was able to overcome his opponent Drewbie very convincingly.
And that's going to wrap it up for today. This is Division number 5. It's been really exciting. We did have a lot of mirror matchups, so look at it this way. We got them out of the way. In hell, we had some great games. I mean, the TVTs were exciting. Even in the PvP, we saw some interesting usage. And Sen coming on top in that ZVZ was certainly an excellent display of skill. But look to see this Division 5 maintain the excitement with names like Idra, Sen, Boxer, even the lower guys, I guess you can call them, like Drewbie and Pain User. These are some of the finest players in all of the world, so we're really excited about this division and can't wait to see the games that come out of it. But before we go, we do want to give a couple thanks. First, I would like to thank Underline Entertainment. They just have a new website, underlineent.com. Go check them out. They made the music for us. SE2builds.com. They've actually helped us out with like the fly cam that we used a little bit of, the maps, and they've just been in general really supportive, so please do show them some love as well. For the NASL, you can follow us on Twitter, NASL TV, or like us on Facebook at NASL TV as well. Any way we can kind of grow our social network, it increases the amount of information we can get to you guys, but also, more importantly, and I think we've seen this in the last couple of days, the information you can get to us. If we're doing something wrong, or if you think we can improve upon something, those are some of the best ways to communicate with us and allow us to know what we can do to improve this. Because at the end of the day, this is our passion project. This is something we're really, really excited about, but it's also yours. We want this to be something we can all be proud of as a community. And certainly it wasn't going to happen in the first day, but we want to grow this into something that can become, hopefully perfection. Now, of course, that's the goal. Whether or not we get there, we'll have to wait and see.
I couldn't agree more. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to... Do we have any other closing words? Actually, I think we have to...
if you're on that low-quality stream, do please consider picking up the high-quality stream pass. It's $25. It helps support the league and also allows us to guarantee that we'll do a continuation seasons, Season 2, 3, 4, 5, and beyond. We'd love to keep bringing this product to you guys, but obviously that's dependent upon the success we have. So at the end of the day, if this is something you can get behind, please do. If it's not, then just continue watching, because the mere fact that you're hearing me say this is awesome.
Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you next week when we go into Week 2. Same divisions, 1 through 5, and we're going to have some epic matches again. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Andre Greater Pengshua.
And I'm Jeff In Control Robinson. Thanks.